time travel or somehow escaping from the flow of time. I did the 3 videos and I want to wrap it up somehow here by saying that even if I had the key questions answered and I was given the data with incredible phenomenal figures and huge distances and speeds, um, the major questions are where we are, which direction we're headed, how many directions we're moving in at the same time, multi-directional, and that centric theory of it, and the rate of speed, and therefore knowing that you can also measure the distance for any given amount of time. So if you would give me these calculations, the figures, the formulas can all be worked out together, and then you can counteract that number with an opposite to cancel it out, like white noise, and then all of a sudden you have silence. You cancel that out with an equal and opposing motion. Therefore, you would stay in one place without moving along with the universe, going with that flow, and therefore time would cease to exist. I found out several problems with this, notwithstanding the fact that it's almost impossible to make these calculations. You are talking about an enormous amount of energy and effort to accomplish this propulsion, thrust, and direction. Not only that, but the fine-tuning of the direction probably has to go in waves and not a straight line, so that these adjustments would have to be calculated minutely to make sure that you're following the direction against the motion. If we find out that there is a straight line in a direction, we can point to it, one dimension within 3 dimensions or more, that we need to head toward that at a certain speed, then I would be very shocked. But we don't know that. But in any case, it's going to be a large amount of propulsion, and along with that, it's kind of a separate force, a separate issue, but interconnected, is the amount of energy to escape from the gravity, the inertia of the pull of everything else going in the direction that it's been moving. How to escape this gravity, how to propel yourself in an opposite way, an equally opposite amount of force, directionally. How much energy are you talking about? How much of a machine of sophistication are you talking about? And even with that said, if it can be done, that it can pull off the calculations that are necessary to remain in one place in the universe. Even that. Think about, if you're staying in one spot, how soon is something going to collide with you that's coming at your direction? You're going to have repulsion or some kind of a shield for that. But how would you calculate where the things are? You'd have to have a whole other series of calculations to think of everything else that's out there. Think about an explosion just on the Earth, a small explosion, but study it minutely. Every piece of shrapnel that's coming away from this explosion at an enormous speed. Just think, if you froze one small piece of shrapnel from that phenomenon, from that event, if you froze it, it's going to be in the path, and another piece of shrapnel is going to collide with it. Or the shock wave, or there's moving particles, even if they're not solid, just like that piece of frozen shrapnel. Air, concussive force. How do you withstand that? It's like a huge raging river during a monsoon. Usually everything moves along with the flow, and they're less apt to be colliding because they're all moving along in this, like, enormous directional flow. But if you were to freeze anything just there, it's not going with the flow, and something's going to collide with it. So these are the major problems that I found out. And I go back to my original premise that there is no way, there's no easy way to physically, completely escape from time itself, because time itself is a flow of motion. And it is very perplexing. I put my mind to it and try to see that if it can somehow be done, and technologically, what way would we do it? And I'm talking about physically. That's the key, because I believe that in the mind we can slow down the other effects of time. That's a mental thing, and I think that that's where we should put more of our effort and our theoretical planning, to come up with some science and technology, spiritual methods to either harness time, defeat time, however you want to look at it. I'm not sure exactly what's the proper way, because time is so powerful and so mysterious. So this is how I'm going to leave it off for you. Time travel is basically impossible. You can keep trying. I've given you my best guess as far as what you're going to have to do to escape time. And that's it. That's all I can say. And if you want to keep with your imaginative fantasy of time travel and like stuff like, who's that guy, Al Bielek in the Philadelphia Experiment, all I can say is, I don't believe in horse shit and liars, even though the guy is dead right now. But it doesn't make any difference. He was a hoaxer and a deceiver while he lived. So I can't mix in with those people because they don't know how to think. So thanks for seeking the truth with me. Make your comments and do all that good stuff.